Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Ration Nerd. Sorry I didn't get to you guys last week. A storm came through, fucked up the property. There was lots to do. My sincerest apologies. And in the interim, what else is happening? Well, the world is going absolutely fucking bonkers. So I figured today would be a great time to check out this case of disaster relief meals made by AMERIQUAL. So this is 12 meals in a case, production date of 2019, inspection date of 2023. This is an unopened case, so we're going to get into it, find out exactly how many calories you get. And the reason why I brought up this particular case of meals is the fact that I got this on eBay for $40 free shipping. So if for some reason you see all the chaos in the world just like this guy does and you want to put some food away for those hard times that may or may not be coming, this could certainly be an option, and we're going to find out together. And if you like doing stuff together, do you know what you could do for this absolute goofball right here? Well, I'm going to tell you, you can hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, shit be in the way, and talk to me in the chat. It's always a great time to hear from you guys. So without any further ado, we're going to bust into this. Actually, there are further ados. Sorry about that. This is the ration I'll be giving away this month. This is an Italian civilian ration, a vegetarian menu with a whole lot of really cool self-heating coffees in there, 2,420 calories of potentially civilian Italian goodness. And if you're really into fish, I'll even send you this fucking box or little can of sardines. But you'd have to join me on Patreon if you want a shot at winning this ration. And how do you get to Patreon, might you ask? Well, I'll put it right up here across the top of the screen for you guys to check out my Patreon channel. And if you do, it's essentially like getting a ration raffle ticket, and you could win this most excellent can of sardines and more importantly, this 24-hour Italian civilian mountain ration, menu number 1. And look, I know the cost of everything is going through the roof, and if you can't afford to join me on Patreon, that's completely okay. You could support me here. Hit that like button, leave me some comments. If you're not already subscribed, do that, and that'll help the channel out just fine. I greatly appreciate you guys. But if you want a chance of getting a free ration, you got to join me on Patreon. Anyway, let's crack into this case of 12 meals. Let's see what we get. Now, I'm going to move this shit down to the floor because it is completely in the way up here. So I will start extracting all 12 meals and we'll take a look at what we get. Now, given that it was made by AMERIQUAL, I am thoroughly expecting there to be a lot of U.S. military MRE components in here, but that's okay. We're not looking at this from a gourmet standpoint. We're looking at this as how many calories can you get delivered to your front door for 40 bucks that will actually last a while. So let's see. We have chicken burrito bowl. We have another chicken burrito bowl, so that's 2 of those. We've got 2 chicken and noodles, which look like they have garlic mashed potatoes in them as well. This one has vegetarian taco filling. This one has au gratin potatoes. It's very hard to see the contents, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more investigation, but while we're doing the unpacking, afterwards, what my intent is to have a menu list for this entire case, a calorie count for the entire box, like how many calories are you getting in this box, as well as a rough weight of the box and the rations. We'll take a scientific wild-ass guess as to what the lifespan of these would be, but since we all know a whole lot about US MREs, it is very likely that the shelf life of these is going to be relatively extended. So by the time we're done this video, we'll have all that information to hand, and I'm going to have to probably open some of these up just to see what the main entree is, because they've really got it buried in there. So unfortunately, it looks like I'll be opening a shit ton of these up and just kind of stacking all the components back in the case when I'm done. Then we've got a brisket meal, a brisket slice. That's pretty cool. Asian style beef strips with sauce. It is a absolute struggle to figure out what the hell menu this is. I'm just going to have to tear a bunch of these open. This one has like a big chunky thing. I'm not sure what that is. We're going to open this one up and just find out. Another Asian beef strips, another beef brisket, another one of those chunky unknowable entrees. So there you go. We've got 12 meals that cost in sum total $40 free shipping, which was pretty badass. So let's get a couple of these unpacked, find out what's inside, find out what all the menus are, which we will definitely list later, and then we'll get back and we'll have some brunch slash dinner together. Maybe we'll rock into 2 of these things all at the same time, just for a whole lot of fun. This big chunky fucker, I've got to find out what that is. And then we had Beef brisket. There's quite a few things here. The Asian style beef strips are actually pretty decent, so I'm kind of wanting to eat those. But since I have not had a beef brisket before, and I have no clue what that big funky chunky thing is, if it's just chicken chunks white, I'm going to chuck that fucker to the side and we're going to get a more interesting menu. But let's get these out of the way and unpack those fuckers and see what comes in one of these disaster relief meals. Alright, so before we get on to doing this, you might ask yourself, why am I concentrating or using my time online to review something like this? Simply put, the world is a pretty batshit bonkers place. Food inflation is a real thing. If you buy food anywhere ever, you've got to know that is absolutely the truth. So having a little stash of food put away for you and your family to keep you fed during an emergency or when food prices go astronomically crazy high is a really good fucking idea. So let's say you're not really good at prepping or putting food away, or you don't really like to cook for yourself, whatever the case may be. Maybe you've just got more cash than you have sense, but let's say you just want to put something away for an emergency for your family. Well, if you bought one case of these per person, you'd have at least 4 days with 3 meals every day. I think that's the math if you divide 12. And if you're stationary, you really only need 2 meals a day, so you could certainly stretch that out much longer. But at least it gives you some time to figure shit out during a real, actual, factual emergency. No matter what that emergency is, insert your disaster fantasy here. It's completely fucking up to you. Whether it's zombies or space aliens or tyrannical government or world war, it doesn't matter. Super virus coming to melt all your eyeballs, doesn't really matter. Having some food on hand is a good fucking idea because everybody's got to eat. So that's why I'm reviewing these and putting it out there. A little food for thought for all my Ration Nerd Nation members. Anybody who's in the herd within the sound of my voice. We're getting into a little bit of prepping shit today, but it just so happens to involve rations. So let's dig into this mystery menu first. I really gotta know what the hell this is. If it's chicken chunks white, I'm gonna be pissed. God damn it, chicken chunks. I really thought that was going to be something new, and it's totally not. Chicken chunks. There's some au gratin potatoes, though. What else we have going on in here? I guess we should just do the unboxing of it, even though I'm probably not going to eat chicken chunks because it's boring as shit. But it's not a horrible ration item. It's a lot of protein. It's just canned chicken in a sack. What else do we get in here? We got a marble pound cake. That's at least like a little bit of a consolation prize with getting stuck with that. We do have some tortillas, so you can make yourself a tortilla chicken sandwich. We do not have your typical ration spoon. We'll get into that here in a second. We got a pack of M&Ms. We have your heating sleeve. We have a flameless ration heater, which I will try, but I will very likely wind up resorting to some boil footage because these are probably made by the same company that makes USMRE ration heaters, and they suck. They're just enough to get your food warm enough to piss you off. So we have a ration heater, heating sleeve. We have some nutritional information. Then we have this, well, kind of piss poor cutlery set here, or I don't even really consider it a set. You've got a napkin. You've got some gluten-free, sodium-free seasoning, which I normally turn my nose up at, but honestly, some of these are actually pretty decent. We have a little bit of black pepper, not too shabby. We have this really small, itty-bitty, teeny-tiny ration spork. It is, well, it's actually made out of really flexible plastic, so it's probably not going to break on you, but it's not really going to do much for you in the way of actually enjoying your meal, so maybe that's your jam, maybe not. It's not mine so much. I would have preferred they just sent a traditional standard US MRE spoon, but for $40 for a case of these things delivered, I'm not really going to complain too much. Let's scoot this off to the side here so we can make room for ration number 2. I don't know, I kind of want to open up something different just so I can, well, have something a little different, like that brisket. Kind of excited to see what comes with the brisket meal over here. So let's get into that guy. So we've got our beef brisket entree. Gravy with seasoned beef brisket slices. Shouldn't it be beef brisket slices with seasoned gravy? I mean, usually the main ingredient is listed first. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we have beef brisket. That's coming in at about 210 calories for the entire pouch. Not bad, not great, but certainly not bad. Then we have some au gratin potatoes, not too shabby, that's kind of cool. Then we have an applesauce cake. These are actually really good ration items. They're yummy as hell, completely full of preservatives. It's absolutely zombie food, but in an emergency, begging, choosing, you know, you just kind of have to roll with it. And we have a pack of M&Ms. That's not horrible. Then we get some Chipotle tortillas, which seems like you could probably put the flavored tortillas with this plain-ass chicken, but whatever. Chipotle tortillas. We have another one of those piss poor accessory kits. We have the heating sleeve and our flameless ration warmer. I'm not even going to say heater because that is a misnomer. All right, and because that is a really boring menu, what I am going to do is just grab this entire thing and move it off to the side. And we're going to tear into the Asian beef strips just to see what comes in that one. Because I don't want to sit here and eat chicken chunks with you guys. That is boring as hell. So, speeding through the process, we have our flameless ration warmer. We have our heating sleeve, shitty utensil, Chipotle tortillas. Things are certainly looking up here. What have we got? We've got another marble pound cake, which is great. Love me some marble pound cake. But we've got those Asian-style beef strips and salsa. 230 calories on that main. And we've got Santa Fe-style rice and beans, which is kind of a weird add-on with Asian-style beef strips. Meh, whatever. And a pack of M&Ms. That seems to be like your standard candy accessory. So you really kind of get two desserts in here. You get a marble pound cake and a pack of M&Ms. Not super shabby. Well, guys, I'm going to get all this mess out onto a tray. Try to divide it right in half. We'll throw some shit in a flameless ration heater, see if those things even work. If not, we're going straight to the boil. I want to give this the best chance possible of actually being a decent meal, considering it's my only meal of the day, and we're going hard with 2 rations, because why the hell not? I'm a little bit tired of chainsaws and dragging heavy wood across the yard. That shit gets really old. And I'm kind of hangry at this point in the day, so we're going to crack into it. Hopefully, you're going to be here when I come back. All right, everybody, we're back with a big-ass tray full of lots of food. We're going to crack into 2 of these guys to check out the mains, check out the sides, and some tortillas, see if these flameless ration heaters work against my better judgment. We still may be down for some boil footage, and you already know what we got. We got that Asian-style beef strips with vegetables and sauce, also paired with Santa Fe rice and beans, which is kind of a strange Asian-Mexican connection going on. Not really sure who planned that shit. And we have beef brisket with au gratin potatoes, which is actually a really good combo. We have some desserts. Initial opinions on these rations: there's no drinks, there's no coffee, which is really fucked up. So these are very bare bones rations. You're just getting some food. I guess if they were handing these out, they'd probably give you a bottle of water you could use for your flameless ration heater, or maybe you could just kind of piss in it if you really had to. That's absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry I even said that, but it's staying in the video because that's just how I roll. But anyhow, let's get in and see what we got going on. Oh, so on this side of the house, we have the Asian style beef strips meal. That comes in at 1,150 calories. This side of the house, we have the beef brisket meal. That comes in at 1,050 calories. So all these meals are going to be roughly within the 1,000 to 1,200 calorie range. So we'll average that out when we figure out the total calorie count for the entire box. I am really bothered by the fact they couldn't even put one single drink stick or a pack of shitty US MRE coffee in here, but that is what it is. Anyway, let's check out this flameless ration heater. It is probably about to just depress the shit out of me, but we're going to go with it anyway, just to give the entire experience its day in court. So we'll have to do one on the inside and one on the outside of the bag. I'm almost tempted to just do them both. You know what? I'm not just tempted to do them both on the outside. That's exactly what I'm doing. So we're going to put them both on the exterior of the FRH. Stick them in the sleeve right after we chunk a little water in there, and then we'll see if we get any reaction out of this, or if it's your typical USMRE flameless ration heater, absolutely depressing performance. So we have our FRH with the water, and we have both mains. We're going to put it in the heating sleeve. I got to tell you, everybody, prepare to be completely underwhelmed by the performance of this FRH. I've only had a few US flameless ration heaters that actually kicked ass and really actually heated up the meal. I've eaten, I don't know, a lot of US MREs because I'm kind of a nerd like that, and I've always had lackluster, piss poor performance out of the FRHs. So there you go. We'll be right back to see if that actually does anything. All right, so by my stopwatch, it has already been 7 minutes. I haven't heard a single peep out of this FRH. Let's go ahead and get our finger out and finger bang that bad boy and see if we have any. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, there's no heat in there. Actually, that is just above, like, room temperature. It might be like 85 or 90 degrees in there. It's absolutely completely not working, we're going to the boil.
In case you did not know how I like my rations, I like my rations really hot and steamy. So this one is for you. All of you, all the people who like it hot and steamy. And wet. And slightly untouchable.
All right, we are back after some super hot and steamy boil action, as you could see. Let's start getting the rest of this crap out onto the tray. We have our applesauce cake, which I'm actually kind of excited about. These Sterling Foods shelf-stable products, I mean, yes, they're zombie food, but they're usually really fucking good. So no hate for the Bridgeford or the Sterling Foods products. This one looks a little janky. There is some white crusty shit on it. I'm going to put that down to probably the sugar crystallizing on the surface. But we'll bring that up to you so you can see it with your dirty little eyeballs and see what I'm looking like. It looks like it's moldy, but it's probably not. I've never, ever seen one of these come out of the package moldy. Quite funky, maybe, but never moldy. So that is your applesauce cake. Doesn't look great. Probably going to taste amazing, though. And then we have this trans fat-free marble pound cake. Let's rip that out of its package here. I'm actually excited about this one. Usually the pound cakes are fucking amazing. This thing ought to be a really yummy little zombie food treat. Let's take a look at that. Nice glossy sheen on the top of it from smashing against the top of the packaging forever. We got our little marble pound cake. And I'm just going to throw the M&Ms out there. Y'all know what M&Ms look like. And if you don't, you're living under a rock. And it's okay. It's your rock. You do what you want. And those look perfectly fine and fresh. And they are very likely both. M&M's just spraying everywhere. That's all right. We've got a little cleanup action going on. And we'll get our Chipotle tortillas and our plain tortillas. Actually, they're both Chipotle tortillas, which is actually pretty rocking. I like that. The more flavor, the better. So you get two tortillas that will roughly kind of maintain their shape until you try to do something with them, at which point they will split down the middle. I know it's a size restriction, but I really wish they would just ship them just like this. A lot of other ration manufacturers around the world do ship their tortillas just like that. You put a little heat to them and they wrap up into little burritos or tacos absolutely perfectly. Chipotle tortillas, which I'm actually pretty jazzed about. I like the Chipotle tortillas. They're not hot, they're not spicy. They do have just a little bit of that Mexican food flavor. We're not going to eat that. It'd probably be bad for you. But yeah, they're a little shiny. They're a little glossy. They're kind of orange. Let's bring that up so you can see a nice close-up of that tortilla texture for you. So we have those off to the side. Let's start getting the mains out here. What shall we start with? I have not seen the beef brisket before, so we're going to start with that. I'm kind of wondering what the U.S. military, because that's exactly where these came from, what the U.S. military decided it was going to put in a sack for beef brisket. It's kind of scary. Like, I've seen the pork sausage patty and all that stuff, and that is literally some crazy mystery meat. Let's see what the beef brisket is all about. Nice and hot, just kind of slopping out of there. That gravy actually looks pretty healthy. And, I mean, it doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look horrible at all. That's really hot. I'm kind of, ooh, shit. Definitely more gravy than meat, but it is what it is. And we were supposed to get some au gratin potatoes with that, which is actually a really good pairing. They're nice and hot as well. We're going to have to make some room. We're going to have to double up, put that applesauce pound cake. He's going to live over here with Mr. Marble Pound Cake for a minute while we get some all rotten potatoes out here. Let's take a look at that. A little bit of fake cheese sauce. That actually doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look like real cheese, but it certainly doesn't look bad. Get that out into one of these little side pockets over here. Little au gratin potato action. Squish, squish. They're very, like almost like one homogeneous piece of cheesy potato. Ooh, hotness, hotness. And we have our Asian-style beef strips with vegetables and sauce. I do like the fact that that's hot. They put the tear notches out here, so if you had to eat it out of the pouch, you absolutely could, and it'd be a lot easier. And they really don't expect their flameless ration heaters to do much of anything, so it's not going to be too hot to hold. So you could literally just hold the pouch in your hand, and just eat right out of the bag, which is a good thing. until you're trying to dump it out onto a tray. In which case, I like it when they put the slits vertically, so you can just pour it right out of the pouch all nice and neat. But these are not designed for ration reviewers. They are designed for soldiers, so I completely understand the horizontal tear notch. This is going to be, I hate when they put labels. They over-label the package. That really sucks. Makes for a piss poor tear. It is a pretty decent looking Asian style beef strips with veggies. Actually looks very appetizing. One of my favorite US MRE mains for anybody that gives a shit. Let's get that out on the tray. Ooh, we got some bamboo shoots, some water chestnuts, some funky looking beef coming out of there. Not too shabby in all honesty. For only a couple hundred calories worth of food, this is one of the most appetizing looking US mains in my humble opinion. And we really need somewhere for these Santa Fe rice and beans to go, so we're gonna have to relocate to get on the M&M relocation program. And our Santa Fe rice and beans, which is actually a pretty damn decent US MRE item as well. There's not a lot of US MRE items I really like. The Asian style beef strips is generally one of those things, as well as the Santa Fe rice and beans, or beans and rice, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's a pretty damn good ration item in my opinion. It's cheesy, it's gooey, it goes well with the tortillas. I'm still kind of, oof, God, that's hot. I'm still kind of mystified as to who thought putting Santa Fe rice and beans together with Asian style beef strips was a great idea. I mean, I don't really mind it, and most people probably wouldn't, but it does seem like a really odd combination. All right, so there we have it. There's well over 2,000 calories of food out here on the tray, and we'll get into our really shitty cutlery set. For disaster relief ration, I guess it's not that bad. I just don't know why they didn't choose US MRE spoons. Shit happens. Salt-free seasoning and pepper, which I'm sure we're going to get into. That's certainly not wiping anybody's ass, but it'll get the food off of your face, at least we hope. Get all our seasonings staged over here and ready to go, and napkins to wipe the food out of my beard or off my shirt, one or the other, or both. All right, so let's get cracking on this meal before anything gets super cold. I've not had this entree before, so I'm really interested to see what it tastes like, the consistency of the meat, if it really is meat. We will find out. It's very likely processed, but it certainly does look like it's not processed, but we will find out. It seems and feels like it's way too soft in texture to not be processed, but let's bring it up to you guys so you can take, the first look at that beef brisket action. Let's get that right in the face before I spill any more of it. And that meat's definitely processed somehow, some way. It's way too soft to be actual, factual, real beef. Maybe a small portion of it is, but it's extraordinarily tender, kind of like a processed meat would be. The gravy is very salty, much less beef flavor than you would expect. It's almost just like a salty brown colored gravy, and not really beef flavored. It's okay. It's not bad. I'm totally not picking on it. For a pre-packaged, retort pouched beef brisket, it's not horrible. It's certainly not gourmet. I just kind of feel like it's mostly gravy. I don't know, there is a decent amount of meat in there, but kind of is what it is. Very salty, not super beefy. I tell you what we're gonna do though. We're gonna utilize some of this pepper, because it does not need any help in the salt department. It is plenty salty for probably just about anybody. But we'll chuck some pepper on there. I am very fond of black pepper. Love it on my food. Even more fond of white pepper, but it's not in the ration. Get all that business out on there. And we'll get another bite with some black pepper added. See if that helps to cut the saltiness. Probably not, but it is a US MRE item. US MREs are probably in my bottom 5 MREs. Mainly because the nutritional value is mostly sugar and carbohydrates, low in protein. So let's get a bite of that with the pepper on it. For a US MRE item, I'm not really shocked, and I'm not really surprised, and I'm not really happy about it. It's just kind of okay. Definitely a cornstarch thickener going on in here with the gravy. I mean, it's weird. It's almost like there's some, I kind of figured out what the issue is. This is like a big piece of roast beef that probably should have been turned into lunch meat, or was destined to be go on a deli counter and be roast beef. So it was already cooked. Then they took it and they packed it in the retort pouches in whatever quantities. It definitely made it uber soft, made it taste even more processed than it probably did before they put it in the retort pouch. There's also a strange background hint of almost like a plasticky flavor. Now, I didn't overboil these at all. The packaging obviously wasn't delaminated or anything. Let's check out those au gratin potatoes. Those things heated up really nice and started to cool off really fast. They're definitely cheesy cheesy with air quotes around it. Let's bring that up to you guys so you can check out those au gratin potatoes. This ration item I've had before. Let's give it a go. That is definitely a very artificial cheese flavor. Whatever made this gooey is very likely some kind of starch. I highly doubt there's much real, actual, factual, natural cheese in here. Probably some guar gum and all the other crazy shit they use to make stuff gooey. That's not real cheese. It certainly doesn't taste like it. Even boxed generic macaroni and cheese tastes more like real cheese than this stuff does. This is definitely absolutely artificial cheese. The potatoes are real potatoes, just dehydrated and then rehydrated in the process of making these au gratin potatoes. Cheese is absolutely fake. Your kids would probably love this. Oddly enough, kids seem to love like super artificial cheese and artificial strawberry and all kinds of crazy like artificial bullshit. That would definitely knock your kids' socks off. They'd be all kinds of into these au gratin potatoes. The only thing I can think to do is try to combine these two together, get a little au gratin potato and beef brisket action, see how that pairs. And that's definitely weird. The slightly artificial or that plasticky background flavor that's in this particular main, combined with the artificial cheese flavor of those au gratin potatoes, really didn't do anybody any favors. Like putting those two together is not a good look. The artificial cheese flavor really enhances the plastic flavor of this beef brisket. I don't quite know how to manage that. It really didn't go well together, at least for my taste buds. We're gonna go ahead, since we have some tortillas to put down, make a little beef brisket tortilla. This is definitely going on my shirt and in my beard. Shit happens. That's the ration life, as they say, or at least at this table it is. We're gonna make it big and healthy, and it's going to spooge all over us, and we're going to have at least try to have a good time with it. Looks like we almost got it drip free. Let's try that on some chipotle tortilla and just hope for the absolute best. Yeah, absolutely not great. I mean, it's wet, it's salty, and it still has that plasticky background flavor, even through the taste of the chipotle tortilla. After I'm done eating this, just to get it the hell out of the way, because it's not all that great, we'll do a bite of the chipotle tortilla by itself so we can get a flavor profile on that. Sorry guys, it's been a really busy week and I'm a little out of sorts, so you'll have to forgive me if this isn't your normally scheduled ration nerd. I'm doing my absolute best though. I'm just gonna smash this and get it out of the way. I'm gonna eat it because that's what I do, but I'm not gonna love it all that much. And that's one thing you should definitely consider when you're thinking about putting things away for an emergency, is whether or not you're gonna like the damn things. I'm gonna need a little bit of nature's magic fucking elixir. If you've never heard of it, it's called water. You drink this shit, it hydrates you, it makes you a better person. I can guarantee you, if you drink more water, you'll be a better fucking human being. Try it. Let's wash that nasty plastic brisket down. Water, it's fucking amazing. I kind of want to just put this brisket down and be done with it. It's really not great. I don't know whose brilliant idea this was and why they had to make it so crazy salty, but it really is. It's so salty, it's almost, I don't know, inedible. It's like the entire sodium content of your daily intake is in this one ration item. I guess it'll last for a long time with all that salt content, but it really doesn't matter if you don't want to eat it. I mean, I want to eat it, but I'm a fucking weirdo, so you have to take that into consideration as well. Who you're hearing it from. I'm totally a goofball, and I'm a ration nerd, so I kind of do want to eat it. Even though it has that weird plastic flavor, is this shit going to kill me someday? It possibly could, but at least I'm going to have fun along the way, eating some really crazy and sometimes really amazing rations. All right, my friends, well, there it is. There's the last bite of that beef brisket, at least the last bite I'm fishing out of there. There's a lot of little baby bits of meat in there. The only thing I really don't like about this main, other than the plastic flavor and the fact that it's crazy overly salty, is that in order to get all the calories, you'd have to drink the gravy. And that's not the worst thing on the planet if the gravy was amazing. I mean, I'm not just sitting around just like chugging gravy or anything. But if you're really hungry, it's not the worst thing you could have to do. But if it tastes like this, no, just absolutely not. I'm leaving the gravy. And I did promise you guys a little one-on-one time with this chipotle tortilla. We're just going to go ahead and bring it right down the middle, and we'll get a big old sniff. And that absolutely has a little bit of that shelf-stable bread product smell. If you smelled it before, you know. If you haven't, it's kind of a weird, stale, chemical smell with just a teeny tiny hint of bread in there. It's really strange. Let's go ahead and get a bite of these and see what the chipotle tortillas are like all by their lonesome. And they're actually pretty damn good. They're tortillas, so nothing absolutely special about them. They do have a little bit of that chipotle flavor, a little bit of background heat to them, just a tiny bit, so don't expect to be like blown away. Even if you don't like spicy food, you'd probably be okay with these. It's just a little hint of spice. So if you ever put a little bit of black pepper on your food, that's about how spicy these are. You should be able to handle it. So if you wind up getting Chipotle tortillas, don't worry, don't fear. If you dip it in any of the items on the tray, that pretty much goes away. But it's certainly more fun than a plain tortilla, that's for sure. These au gratin potatoes are kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies too. I just kind of want to put these things to bed as well. They're so fake tasting and just randomly like orange. Especially once you taste it, you know absolutely sure that if Crayola had a crayon that was named cheese, it would be that color. And if Crayola made au gratin potatoes, they probably taste just like this because they taste fake as hell. But let's go for some fake Crayola cheesy au gratin potatoes on a Chipotle tortilla. Now that is an absolute ration win right there. You take those au gratin potatoes, stick them inside of your Chipotle tortilla. I don't know what it is. Something about the chemistry of the food. Maybe my taste buds are broken, but they don't taste nearly as much like Crayola cheese potatoes when you wrap them up in this tortilla. The background heat, oddly enough, of the Chipotle tortilla is a little bit more accentuated when combined with these au gratin potatoes. That's probably some weird chemical reaction with the other 700 chemicals that are probably in these things. But we're just going to keep going at it because it's actually kind of yummy now, which is really disturbing and funny all at the same time. And we're just going to get to it. I wanted to make another Chipotle tortilla. That's really not going to be a great combo. I'm not eating an M&M with my gratin potatoes. I just want to put these Crayola cheese potatoes to bed, so let's do it. I could definitely, I could live my whole life and never have to eat those again. There it is, the last little nibble of some, what I'm calling Crayola cheese au gratin potatoes. And this is a fuck your plastic brisket and your fake ass cheese spoon drop. Now let's keep cracking on. One thing I do like about this particular combination is I feel like you can eat the main and the side separately because I'm not a fortune teller and I've never played one on TV, but I can definitely see the future of those beans and rice going directly on those tortillas and this being consumed all by its lonesome. So we have some good stuff going on in here. We have some kind of beef pieces. We have some bamboo shoots, red peppers, green peppers. We have a few water chestnuts floating around in here, which would give you a nice crunchy thing to crunch on when you're surviving your disaster. That looks like a bit of onion, which is nice. So onions, green and red peppers, bamboo shoots, beef, water chestnuts in a salsa. So let's stop fucking around with it and let's go in here and get a big old bite. Try to get a little bit of everybody on bite number one. Bring that up to you guys without dumping it on my face so you can check that Asian style beef strips and vegetables in sauce out for yourself in the face. I'm absolutely not saying this because this is one of my favorite US MRE mains, but that's actually pretty decent. The texture of the beef is actually like real meat. So let me bring that up and show it to you just so you can see that with your own eyeballs. It has a lot better texture than that beef brisket did. Texture-wise, it leaves little hunks of beef in between your teeth, which real meat does. So it definitely lends me to believe that there's much more real meat in this Asian style beef strips than there was in the brisket. This is good. It honestly tastes like a generic stir fry that you could do at home. If you added something to make a gravy at the end in your stir fry, that's pretty much what this tastes like. And honestly, I'm 100% on board with that. No weird background flavors. You can taste a lot of the vegetables. It's not just one particular flavor you taste when you stick it in your mouth. When you crunch into that water chestnut, you taste it. When you bite into the beef, you absolutely taste it. You can pick up a little hint of the peppers here and there. And well, bamboo shoots never tasted like shit anyway, so you don't really taste those. The gravy is thick. It actually has a really nice beefy and that Asian style stir fry flavor, which I happen to like. This is actually probably one of the best US MRE mains on the planet. In my humble opinion, it's pretty damn yummy. I'm sure this was not the case, but somehow or the other, they were able to impart a flavor into the beef, almost as if it was cooked simultaneously with the vegetables in a pan. I know they're all technically cooked together when they go in the retort packaging process. High temperatures, high pressures, I get it. But it really tastes like these were kind of seared in a pan together, like a stir fry. That's the flavor it gives off, which is really nice and makes you want to keep going back for more. This is really yummy, really satisfying, and I'm kind of sad that I ate that damn beef brisket first, because it let this lose a little bit of temperature. It's still really good. It just would have been nice to get this when it was blazing hot instead of trying to suck down that nasty beef brisket instead. That's all right. Lessons learned in the future. Fuck that beef brisket. I love the water chestnuts. Just gives you something, a little bit of different texture right in the middle. If you like water chestnuts, you'd absolutely love it. If you hate them, you can just kind of swish them off to the side. Calorically, they're not doing you a whole lot of harm if you toss like 3 or 4 of the water chestnuts that come in this main to the side. It's no big deal. I like them because they're crunchy. I was getting ready to say, I don't know what kind of voodoo magic they use to make this actually taste like real food. Maybe there's just one USMRE main that's actually real food, and this just happens to be it. Quite honestly, yes, this does taste like canned food. It's retort packed. It's essentially the same thing, but it tastes really good. It tastes like it was actually cooked on like a real stove before it went in the bag. And that's what you're really looking for. Something that's enjoyable. It doesn't have to be gourmet. It doesn't have to be so good it's fucking humbling. It really just needs to be edible. That, not so much. This is actually really good. Those potatoes can fuck off. That was pretty nasty. Crayola cheese potatoes. This, Asian beef strips with veggies and sauce, is actually really damn good. And moving right along to a relatively typical and well-reviewed ration item, the Santa Fe rice and beans is going to go smashingly on this Chipotle tortilla. That is my prediction, and I'm pretty sure we're about to confirm that. Take a look at that. It's going to be cheesy and yummy. It's got some Chipotle seasoning in the tortilla. This ought to work out like a champion. We have some small kidney beans, lots of rice, some seasonings going on in here, and this a cheesy sauce. Let's stop playing with our food and let's start eating it. Let's get a big old bite of that. And that's definitely the way to go. It's really yummy. It's not the most natural tasting side or ration item on the planet. It is pretty good though. It has a decent rice and bean, like Mexican rice and bean kind of flavor to it. A little bit of veggies and seasoning floating around in here. Nothing special, nothing to write home about, but combined with one of these Chipotle tortillas, I mean, look at it. It's all like ooey and gooey, just like the au gratin potatoes, but it doesn't have that sincerely Crayola cheese taste to it. I'm coining that term. It's mine. You can borrow it, though, if you want it. I mean, you can use it all the time. Crayola cheese, it's a thing, but it's not that way with the Santa Fe rice and beans, which I'm really happy about. And this little rice and bean taco we got going on is pretty happening. We're definitely going back for round 2 of that, and we're just going to take the rest of those Santa Fe rice and beans, pack it on that Chipotle tortilla, and say goodbye to this ration item because it's going in my face. You know, not gourmet, but definitely pleasant to eat. Yummy, tiny, tiny little bit spicy. Hot sauce or the powdered hot sauce that comes in the new USMREs would hook that right the fuck up. Why they didn't do that, I have absolutely no idea. I know, these are disaster relief meals, but I'm fucking hard on everything. You think if you just lost your house in a hurricane or a tornado, or like some big crazy fucking natural disaster came through and blew your whole life away, that it wouldn't be nice to have something to eat that actually tastes good? I kind of think it would, considering that Asian beef strips is really good. Why the hell does the beef brisket have to suck so bad? It's like night and day. No reason why they couldn't have put together a beef brisket the same way they put together the Asian style beef strips and made it relatively tasty. That tasted like salty plastic with a hint of beef. That's definitely the wrong thing to do. That's probably not what they were intending, but it's certainly what they produced. I completely fucking forgot to show you the last bite of that Santa Fe rice and bean taco because I was just sitting here kind of zoning out, figured I had babbled enough about some pretty common USMRE items, and I just kind of zoned out and finished it. So sorry about that. Anyway, moving on to desserts, which I kind of feel like these disaster relief rations are a little heavy in the dessert department. You've got 230 calories in each ration of M&Ms and roughly 260 calories in some kind of cake item. I think these items were chosen just because they were really calorie dense, which is fine and all that, but these aren't going to stay in your system very long. Sugar gets in and out of you really quick. You process it super fast. You're going to be hungry again in pretty short order. And if you're only getting 2 of these a day, I'd rather have 200 calories of some other item that wasn't just full of absolute sugar. Just my opinion. Let's start with this applesauce cake though. That is definitely a disturbing looking applesauce cake, but I've probably eaten worse, and I've probably eaten worse on this channel with you guys. So let's throw that up to your face so you can see the applesauce cake that we're working with. And I do kind of want to sniff that weird white spot. I'm sure I've been down this road before, but that really looks like mold to me. And I don't know. It would be so hard to tell with this shelf-stable zombie food. We're just going to go for it. You did notice that I set the moldy looking piece off to the side, right? Let's get a bite of this applesauce cake and talk about it, because that's what we do here. Hey everybody, it's future Ration Nerd fixing past Ration Nerd's fuck-ups yet again. Anyway, I wanted to do the ration giveaway because I realized it was so damn close to the end of the month. Jack Nugian, I'm fucking that up. Sorry, dude. You should have phonetically spelled that for me. I tried my best to pronounce it. But Jack, congratulations. You are the winner of this month's ration giveaway. This Italian ration right here. And I'm going to message you on Patreon. And if you want these stanky-ass sardines, they're yours, brother. Grats. This is the giveaway. And peace out, bitches. Now back to the review. Now, you guys are already fully aware of how I feel about zombie food. If you've been watching me for any length of time, I think it's really cool. I think the technology is amazing that you can make something this tasty last for so long. I'm just not happy about all the crazy chemicals they put in this shit, but I am going to tell you, this tastes pretty damn amazing. It has a really spicy cinnamon and apple flavor. It's absolutely yummy. If I did not know what this was made out of, I would be a lot happier about getting it. Considering I do know what kind of crazy chemicals they put in these things and how they get them to be shelf stable, I tend to be less happy about them. But in an emergency, if I were having a really bad go of it, this would be a welcome treat. I don't know if having 2 or 3 of these cakes a day is a great idea. I guess it depends on the duration of your disaster. But even 2 of these a day is probably just a really bad idea. But damn, they're very yummy, very spicy, almost like a spice cake and apple cake mix. It's damn good. Got a great flavor to it. It's almost like if you were to walk into somebody's house and they had that fake bowl of fruit and you picked one up and you knew it was fake and you took a bite out of that fucker anyway, but it tasted really good. That's kind of what eating one of these cakes is like if you're aware of the ingredients. You know what else is shelf stable? Plastic. Well, I don't know. Fuck it. Spartans, prepare for glory. Let's get a bite of this weird looking side of the cake. It's still very scary.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Oh. Oh, shit. Oh. That really must be. Oh, fuck. That was bad. That was actually really bad. I don't know how. Oh, the flavor. Oh, that's fucking horrible. That is insane. I'm going to have to roll the footage back for myself. Honestly, those white spots, when they hit your mouth, it's super bitter, super fucking nasty. Definitely has that weird, and burping it up is even worse. I fucking swallowed a bit of it. That's fucking horrible. I can feel it in the back of my mouth. That taste is creeping up. You ever had something that was so cloying and it's like literally creeping up the back of my nostrils and I can taste it like, There's a ration lesson for you right there. Even if you think it's okay, it might not be. That is the first shelf-stable item I think I've had that I took a bite of a piece of it and it was fine, and then I got to the weird-looking part and it tasted like total ass. Don't do that. That is a great piece of advice. If you learn nothing else from this video today, don't do that. So maybe not every shelf-stable item is actually shelf-stable. Something happened to that. That is really odd. I've never experienced anything that nasty. That's really crazy. It's literally like it molded inside. Oh, that is so bitter and disgusting, and there's no fucking drink to help take the taste of that out of my mouth. Let's bring that up so you guys can see it. I really do think that is some kind of mold. Either that, it's some kind of chemical they used in the processing part of it and it got on the cake somehow. I don't know. That's fucking nasty. Really, really bitter, really disgusting. Kind of like an accentuated mold. If you've ever accidentally taken a bite of a piece of bread that was moldy, that was absolutely. But if you took a bite of a piece of bread that was moldy and then multiplied that several times and then gave it some really horrible staying power because it's still in my face. I can still taste it. It's really bad. Okay, well, moving on. Let's get this marble pound cake and give that the old eyeball because that was pretty nasty. Now this I'm accustomed to seeing. That's just crystallized sugar and I'm 100% on board with that. Let's break this bad boy open, give you a cross section. of the marble pound cake. And there you go. I've had this ration item several or many times. Really like it. So we're going to be a little bit more careful about this piece. We're going to give it a little sniff, which I highly recommend. You're careful with every ration you eat, even if it's brand new production. It is food in a bag. Retort technology is not 100% perfect. Every once in a while, you get a fuck up. Obviously, there you go. So let's try this marble pound cake first with the nose and then with the mouth. And that smells absolutely fine. Actually smells a little bit chocolatey. Smells really yummy. Let's get a bite of that and get some of that filthy ass mold taste out of my face. That was really, really fucking disgusting. And that really does taste like a slightly artificial chocolate and vanilla pound cake. It's really good. The sugary coating on the outside lends it a little bit of extra sweetness. Almost like it's iced, which is perfectly fine by me. It's really yummy. They did a great job mixing this up, getting that nice swirl action in there, which really does help with the flavor. You get different gradients of the chocolate as you're biting into it, so you can kind of judge how much chocolate flavor you're going to get by how much chocolate you're seeing and how much vanilla you're seeing, which is kind of really neat. This is definitely a good shelf-stable product. I normally love the applesauce cake unless it's gone bad and I've fucked up and taken a bite of it. This marble pound cake, though, is really yummy. It's fucking zombie food, but it's really yummy. It does tend to get a little dry though, so you're definitely going to want something to drink with it. And water is just a damn shame. If we had some coffee, even some shitty ass USMRE Bill's brew, it would go great with this marble pound cake, but it was just not to be. Water is what we're getting. So let's go ahead and smash the rest of this pound cake, and then we can nom nom on some M&Ms, and then we can talk about this whole disaster relief meal experience. And then we'll grab a handful of M&Ms. I'm not going to talk about them too much. Everybody pretty much knows what M&Ms are at this point. If you don't, it is a little disc of milk chocolate that is covered with some hard candy. It's got an M on it. It's in different colors. They all taste the same. A little bit chocolatey, a little bit crunchy, and a little bit sweeter than normal chocolate because it's covered in sugar. They're sweet, they're crunchy, they're chocolatey. Definitely a morale boost if you're looking for something chocolate or you're looking for something sweet. Milk chocolate is absolutely not my personal favorite. If they made dark chocolate M&Ms, I'd be much more into them. But these are a nice little sweet treat. And if these disaster relief meals are going to your kids, they're definitely going to appreciate some M&Ms. But you're going to have to watch out for the crazy, weird mold shit you may find in the occasional shelf-stable bread product like that apple cake. I might have to research that to see if I need to get out the activated charcoal and the antibiotics. One never knows. I'm going to wrap these M&Ms up off camera because it's really boring to sit here and listen to me eat M&Ms. At least I think it is. Your mileage may vary. You might be more of a weirdo than even I am. That's completely on you though, dog. So thank you everybody for joining me here on Ration Nerd to check out these AMERIQUAL disaster relief meals. And together, hopefully we've decided whether or not you'd like to put these in your preparedness stockpile. If you don't have a preparedness stockpile, you probably ought to. Having some emergency food for you and your family is always a great idea. Is this particular Box O rations the solution for you? Not really sure. You have to make up your mind on that. I don't think these were put together exceptionally well. So realistically, you could get away with eating 2 of these a day. If you're in a low activity disaster situation, is this going to be okay? Absolutely. Somewhere between 22 and 2,350 calories is going to do you just fine for a day if you're mostly sedentary. You could up it to 3 if you were doing a lot of hoofing it in your disaster, your particular personal disaster scenario. Are you going to be particularly happy with every meal? Probably not. Is it going to get you through an emergency? 100%. There's food in here. You may even lose the occasional shelf-stable bread product to, well, bad packaging or maybe a little bit of air got in there. Who fucking knows? All I know is that was nasty, but it happens from time to time. If you lost one cake out of one of these rations every once in a while, it's not that big of a deal. You're still getting a good portion of calories for the day out of a couple of these rations, or if you're really active, maybe 3 of them. And then you're well over 3,000 calories for the day if you really need it. You can also break these apart, take out the entrees and the items that you really want, and huck the rest. Kind of like these accessory kits, they're pretty much fucking worthless. You could also tear open that box and say, well, I need some coffee, so let me add a stick or 2 of coffee for every single ration. Or maybe you're a tea drinker and you could throw some tea in there. Or maybe you want to throw some sports drinks in there. Whether they're sugared or sugar-free doesn't matter. That's completely up to you. But you could crack open that box and add a bunch of things to it. There's certainly just enough room in there to get some extra drinks, some extra accessories, salt, pepper, some decent plastic flatware. But it really depends on what's inside of your budget. $40 shipped to your door is actually a really good price, but it really depends on what's inside of your budget. Maybe you have the budget to order the official US military MREs. I would recommend that over these, but if you're on a budget, $40 for a case of these delivered to your door is a hell of a deal. If you look up just random MRE entrees online and try to order those by themselves, it's going to get you for about the same price, if not even more. So is this right for you? I don't know, but it's certainly a decent start if you're on a budget. And if you're on a budget, you know what you could do for this guy? Even if you're not on a budget, you could still do it for this guy. You could hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and talk to me in the chat. And yes, Elvis is actually officially dead. And if you've been hanging around with me for any length of time, you absolutely know what time it is in the video. It is that time where I tell you if you can find something cooler than this AMERIQUAL disaster relief meal, which you probably can, but you never know. You absolutely know what to do. Ooh, I think I just broke the light. Eat them up.
All right, y'all. So Ration Nerd wanted me to give you like a public service announcement. So this is it. This is right here. This is what I got to say. He wrote something down for me, but I was like, fuck that. I can do this shit on my own. You ain't writing nothing down for me. You ain't just gonna cap my creativity and think that you're just gonna tell me what I got to do at all times. Like, that's not how this creative relationship shit works. So anyway, he basically wanted me to tell y'all that if you're not prepared, maybe now is the time. You might want to think about putting some food and some water and some extra medicines and some like beans and bullets and band-aids away, because the world be getting crazy, y'all. And y'all might not really think so, or maybe y'all think he just bullshitting you, but Ration Nerd really be loving the people to be supporting him. So he want to make sure that all them people around after the apocalypse full of pain comes and steals up all the dumb people that didn't have nothing set aside for that nasty ass day when shit goes tits up. So you really ought to be ready for when things go tits up, because you know when things do go tits up and you got nothing put back, then you're kind of fucked. And then you're looking at other people like, can you help me, can you help me? And they're like, no, because you're dumb. And I saw you buying all that Starbucks coffee. You could have taken all that money you spent on Starbucks coffee and put some food away for your family for an emergency, so you can suck my dick, because I got my coffee over here and you can stay on your side of the fence. And oh, did I happen to mention that I got freedom seeds that will come over this fence or even through it if you try to come take my shit. So wouldn't it be nice if everybody was a little bit prepared, you know? So like when shit does go tits up or go left or go crazy or whatever you want to say, when the space aliens come down and try to put a big old metal hooper tube up your butt, you ready for it, and you ain't gotta lean on nobody else. It's called self-sufficiency, motherfuckers. Like, you gots to be self-sufficient, because if you can't take care of yourself, who the fuck is gonna? Do you think the man is actually gonna reach out with a kind hand and pat you on the head and be like, it's okay, you didn't prepare for nothing, we'll take care of you? Bullshit. They ain't taking care of nobody. You can look at what happened at Katrina. You can look at what happened in that storm that just recently hit like through Tennessee and North Carolina. Them people didn't get taken care of. They got fucked, is what happened. Maybe there should be some investigation about that shit. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't believe in space aliens, but I do know that Lee Harvey Oswald did not shoot fucking JFK. That's all I know. And I'm out, bitches.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.